This episode of The Republic is brought to you by Audible. For a free monthly trial, go to hyperspacebeacon.com/audible.
Game Breaker TV.
You are watching the first and longest running new media broadcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Welcome to Game Breakers The Republic. You will never need to listen to any other Old Republic podcast ever again. Oh, who were they kidding? They're just a bunch of nerds geeking out about the Old Republic on the internet. But here's your host, direct from the garbage masher on the detention level, it's Larry Everett.
Hey everybody, how is it going? I am Larry Everett and you are watching The Republic. This is September 4th and this is number 186 of The Republic. Wow, the longest running. So welcome everybody, and for today we have no news from PAX, and also we want to talk about the reboot of The Republic here and the new guest host that we have, and then lastly let's talk about some guild conquest. I know everybody's excited to talk about that. But first, let me introduce our new people. We have, all the way from Carillion Run Radio, we have Heather, who is known as Diana on Harbinger server, right? Did I get that right? You can talk. You're up.
Yes,
Okay.
Diana with the H on the Harbinger server. Also, Pretty Little Sith.
Pretty Little Sith. Yes. You have, is that pretty? What is the website?
PrettyLittleSith.com.
PrettyLittleSith.com. Obviously, you can also follow her on Twitter at Heather_PLS. And from the Utini cast, we have Redna, who can be found on Twitter at R3DN4. So, how's it going over there on Tatooine? That's where all the Utini stuff is, right? On Tatooine?
I don't know.
The Jawas are on Tatooine.
That's where the Jawas are.
Jawas
He's talking
are.
about Jawa.
That's right.
No, it's going great. I mean, the show's kicking it. Love the podcast.
Yeah, I like your guys'. You can have a lot of people on your podcast, by the way. Just like everybody. I think all of Tor on your podcast? That's what I understand, right?
We definitely have a lot of guests. Yeah. The fun part's been doing interviews of community members and whatnot. It's actually really fun, which are episodes that are now being released in between the weekly shows. So it's like all of a sudden our numbers are inflating twice as fast. So it looks like we've been out for 4 years rather than 3.
Excellent. Well, that's cool. All right. So let's get into the top stories here. We have obviously, if you guys. If nobody in the stream realizes that PAX was last weekend, then you probably were not paying attention to anything at all. You lived under a rock or something. But they also had a community cantina at PAX, and did we learn anything from PAX? Did you guys get anything from PAX? Red, did you get anything from PAX at all?
Actual PAX event?
No, from the community cantina at PAX, because it was kind of it was in Seattle.
There were a few kind of little exciting teasers that came out of there. Definitely not from the Q&A. Nothing ever comes from the Q&A. The important thing is to find all the different individuals that actually post information. If they give it to Dolphy, or several of the podcasts have different little resources. I actually had a guildie that posted on the Facebook, so I stole information from that. There was actually some information out there, but it was scant. There wasn't near as much.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why everybody flipped out because they didn't say anything about 3.0. They just released Conquests.
Yeah,
two
like
weeks
2 weeks
ago.
ago. We just got Conquest, and we're going to get a new Flashpoint next week. Why are you freaking out about 3.0? I mean, they'll talk about it in a month or something.
There's
I don't know. I got to admit though, I was kind of disappointed that they didn't mention. Okay, the only reason I didn't flip out. I mean, I'm not like having a conniption fit or anything over the fact that they didn't say anything about 3.0, but they did. it is this year, right? It is still 3.0 is still happening this year, right? Okay, and we've only got a few months left to hype this thing up, right? And
I guess the only thing that they needed to do was it probably would have been nice if they had said expansion coming at the end of the year.
They did. When I went to the Boston Cantina, Musco said 2 expansions
that was
are
at the
coming
beginning
this
of the year.
Then like April. That was April.
Yeah, and
That's
in
4
their-
months ago.
Right, and
what
in their
he
roadmap,
said,
they originally
what he
said
said was that they were not taking away resources from the main expansion. They were taking away resources from Strongholds. That's why Strongholds was delayed, because they weren't splitting resources from the main expansion.
And not to go off on a tangent, but let's be honest, Galactic Starfighter and Conquests, that team that has nothing to do with expansions, they got their McKeb team, and then they got the Galactic Starfighter and Conquest team. Can we put the Galactic Starfighter and Conquest team onto the expansion team? Because they're fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
They're doing ridiculously awesome stuff. Let's put them into a 3.0 expansion.
well, we do. Okay, so we did get from the cantina. We got a few pictures. Let me. I'm going to throw this up there. Hopefully, Dolphy has them. And let's see if this turns out right. Oh yeah, you guys can see that really well. There we go. This is Ricotta Prime, right? This is coming in.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks really, really nice. I'm really impressed with it. I didn't think I would be. I got to admit, I was thinking that, and I have been every single time they've announced a new planet and shown some pictures. I set my expectations really, really low. So
Oh no.
I do. I set them all really low. I mean, because mostly, and I mostly because of like Ilum, and because Ilum was just, it was not great. And then and I honestly didn't like Oricon either. I'm not a real big fan of the way Oricon looks, and so I always, because of those aesthetics, I've always set my expectations really low when it comes to the other planets and whatnot. And
Well, obviously, a lava world and, forever snow is not going to look as good as Hawaii.
that's true. That is very true. So, do we have any idea?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I've got to agree. It wasn't until Manon that all of us, when Manon came out in the last patch, they've clearly been working with their graphics.
Yeah,
Finally.
they stepped it up. I'm glad
Yeah.
too, because I have a new graphics card. So.
And that was a marked step up above McKeb. And I agree with you. Like, even thematically, I feel like Oricon was kind of tired.
Yeah.
But I was ready for the Dreadmasters to die. This whole fantasy theme, kind of not exactly science fantasy. This is, super role-playing fantasy. I stopped playing World of Warcraft for a reason. I want to play my sci-fantasy, or sci-fi, Star Wars, lightsabers, and political intrigue. That's a lot more of my style.
Exactly. And I was always, honestly, and I'm showing pictures so the chat room can see what we're talking about as far as this Ricotta Prime is concerned. But I was always, I liked the Dread Masters, and it kind of, because I'm Imperial, I always wanted them on my side. You know what I mean? And since they weren't, it kind of felt funny to me, especially since I rescued them on Belsavis, right?
Yeah, and you try to join them or whatever,
Yeah.
whichever side you pick, and you don't get to join them. Like, I want to be a badass too.
That's right, right. They even actually in Terror from Beyond, what was the name of those guys? The 3 guys that you have to fight in Terror from Beyond? They actually say, one of their lines is "join us" or something along that line. I'm like, yes, take me now. And unfortunately, you got to fight them. So,
Yeah. Join us through death and torture. No other option.
but do you have? So, do we know what we're looking at here, other than obviously jungle?
I don't know. Have you done the research on Ricotta Prime? I know it's from, the original KOTOR. I don't believe it was actually referred to as Ricotta Prime at the time.
No.
But that's been filled in.
Yeah, this was from my understanding. Okay, so I have played KOTOR, and what it was known as in KOTOR was unknown planet. That's pretty much what it was. We later learn that it was Ricotta Prime, but they haven't talked about what any of this stuff is. Like, look right there. There's like a temple of some sort right there. You guys can see. I don't know. Can you guys see me circling that? And I'm not sure, but
Yeah, you can see it in the distance.
Yeah, there's
Dude, but it's hard to even pay attention to that because those flowers look so ridiculously cool.
they're on fire.
Yeah, I keep looking at them like they're something clickable or something that's important, but it's just a flower.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
No, these pictures are so nondescript. Like, they did a really good job of making sure that you can't even come up with a story that ties them all together.
No.
Oh, and if you look closely, you can see that the species, that's not a current thing that we've seen. Not like necessarily playable, but the one that looks like SOA.
Oh, the ricotta.
Those are the ricotta, right?
Yeah, those are the ricotta. Yeah.
So
oh, right there, right there.
There's a couple of them.
Oh, you might not be able to see it on the here. Let me change the screen here. Hopefully it doesn't die on me. Right there. You can see a ricotta.
Yeah, between those two animals.
Yeah. And
so I don't know anything about ricotta. I don't even know why. I guess we want to get there, and there's like old knowledge.
That's what it doesn't. It always seem like what we're after is some kind of old knowledge of some sort.
I would love to know what the human because this is straight out of mythology from way back in the day. Like, we always think that we lost this incredible knowledge.
That's right. I mean,
but these people that didn't have hyperspace transportation, but somehow they've got abilities that we covet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, supposedly in lore, the ricotta had in the whole thing you were after in KOTOR was the Star Forge. That was ultimately what you were after, and what that did is it used ricotta technology, which was based on the dark side. So it funneled the dark side in, and you were able to make an army of machines and stuff. So I don't know.
You imbued the machines with the dark side of the Force?
Yeah, they were built off the dark side of the Force. I don't know how it worked. I'm not. It's sci fantasy.
There you go.
Do we crash here? Is this what happened? What is all this? I don't know.
That looks like it's a bit of a wasteland. Like there were other crashes. Like maybe people came across this area before, and hopefully they don't do the same thing that they did with Oricon. Like, I'll land my ship.
Oh, yeah. I hope not. That would be disappointing if they do the same thing. One last picture here. Here's a ricotta statue. That is a ricotta. That's what they look like. And there's this actually. This ship right here was in KOTOR 2. So that's the same ship. So apparently nothing has changed.
Well, so at the least we know that the primary theme about the fact that Ricotta Prime is even a part of this, we know that this is a callback to KOTOR. It looks like we've got a lot of information that is, even with this imagery, is this callback to KOTOR 1 or KOTOR 2. So they're trying to draw more heavily from the original lore, which is cool. Tie it in. I mean, we all wanted more of Revan and whatnot, and who knows where it's going to go. I'm curious about the fact, the very first operation we ever had was against SOA.
True, very true, very true.
Is it kind of full circle?
Is it going to tie back to that? That'd be really cool. And as
so it's going to come back like Kefis.
in every operation. No, I think it should. I think it actually should be required that Kefis is in every operation from now on. It's just. I mean, even if he's like a lizard, little bitty lizard that shows up and he's like chomping at your knees.
The fact of the matter is he's just, instead of different trash mobs, you've just got groups of Kefis.
Yeah, I'm
leading into every boss fight.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Is there? Do you guys have been obviously playing through some of the Forged Alliance stuff already, right? You guys have played all of that.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
So, do we give spoilers at this point? I mean, it's been how many weeks?
Yeah, it's been out for like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
right?
we're good. We can talk.
Well, I guess we can say spoiler alert, and you can close your eyes and ears.
Right. So
there's one flashpoint. It's identical for the pub and the imp side. If you've done it, you've seen it.
Yeah.
There's a Wookiee. Spoiler. Been pictures all over the place.
There's a Wookiee, and he has a droid on his chest.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. What's the name of it?
The guy, the Wookiee. I see. I don't like the Wookiee. I think he's a horrible, horrible guy. Even, and so I'm like, can I just keep you in that cage? Because and the droid is annoying. I always found the droid annoying. But anyway, so spoiler alert. Close your ears if you don't want to hear this. We'll give you some sort of signal that the spoilers are over. But we're talking about the Revenites. Right, in that's if you played Dromund Kaas, the Revenites are people that worship Revan as some sort of god, right? And that's what the Forged Alliance is all about. Is about the Revenites ultimately. And so are we tracking down Revan? Any speculation? Let's make some wild speculations here. What are we doing on Rakata Prime? No guesses?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't a freaking clue. I'm kind of still on the page where, like, I don't think Revan's got anything to do with it. I think Revan's got his own agenda, but he's got these followers that, you know, have known about him for 300 years, and we just woke him up on the pub side.
Yeah.
You know? And they've got the followers on the imp side. Well, clearly, somehow, you know, both the pubs and the imps have followers of his ideals, which have always been pretty gray. You know, he's mastered both the light and the dark side. And I feel like they're running on their own agenda. I don't think he's the puppet master. I think they've got their own little agenda.
All right.
Under his title, but I don't know. I really just don't know.
All right. So speculation as to what we're gonna see. Heather, are we gonna see another PvP zone on Rakata Prime?
Not on Rakata Prime. I think Rakata Prime is just going to be the location for the Flashpoint. Yeah. I really doubt that they're gonna, use this for anything else.
Just a Flashpoint. That's disappointing.
I'm really curious, though, because Manon, the space for Manon is so much larger than just being a Flashpoint entrance. Yeah. It seems like they're prepping to have that as an access point for something else.
Well,
well, maybe this Manon is going to be like a CZ-198 area, and Rakata Prime is going to be the new planet, and we're getting a little taste of it now. Because this looks too pretty just to have for a Flashpoint.
I agree, and I kind of agree with that with Manon as well. Manon and both Rakata Prime are just far too pretty to a Flashpoint entrance. They're prettier than Oricon, and Oricon, you have a whole string of quests that you do there, and in fact, I know that on some PvP servers, they have PvP on Oricon because it's an amazing place to actually have PvP. I saw some videos.
Yeah. You might not like the look of Oricon, but as an execution for, I'm on the Bastion. I don't think we mentioned that, but PvP server, it's beautiful. Yeah. It is. I mean, the execution of it is just so perfect for organic PvP to develop. And it's, I'm on a PvP server, but people aren't generally trolls. Like, you kill someone on site, but then you move on and keep working on your dailies. And Oricon's designed so well that you're just encountering one another as you go. You're not body camping, but you do get to actually kill somebody that's smarter than a computer.
Yeah. All right.
It's fun.
Well, let's move on to. Did we miss anything at PAX? Any reveals? Did we miss anything?
I mean, the only other thing, if you wanted to talk about the community cantina, there were two things in particular that I quite enjoyed. The first being the fact, and this is just a total flair, cosmetic issue, but they are actively working on a summon random mount button.
I like that too, because you got to have all your different little mounts on your bar, and you're like, well, which one do I feel like today? Like you're some kind of baller with all kinds of cars in your garage. At least it'll just pick one for you.
Yeah, so that really excited me. But about your question for PvP, what was his name? Jesse Sky?
Yes.
The program lead? He did answer and say that they are currently working on both new PvP war zones and modes for ground PvP.
All right.
So maybe they will incorporate these map background types or something for a new map area, and hopefully we get some new modes.
Everybody's been
wanting a capture the flag version of something.
Were we supposed to alert people that we weren't in spoiler alert anymore?
Oh yeah, we're not in spoiler alert. You're good. Unmute. That's right.
So yeah, and that's big news, because they asked for our ideas how many months ago, and then we never heard anything. So it's good to know that. I mean, and presumably these are the 8s. It's not going to be new ranked stuff, but honestly, how hard is it to pop out an arena?
It's true. It's very true.
You know, hey,
I mean, comparatively,
no mechanics and no clever design. Go kill each other.
All right. So since we're rebooting the Republic here, I did want to spend a little bit of time to get to know some of the new hosts that you'll see here. And I also want to let. I'm not going to switch cameras because I'm afraid to switch cameras right now to just me because I'm afraid it's going to crash. So so I'm going to stay on me right now. And anyway, but stay on the three of us right now. So this is a good place to stay. So at any rate, the what's happening with the Republic? What I want to do is I want to have a suite of guests to pull from the community, because one of the best things that, and I'm sure these two guys will agree with me, that one of the best things that TOR has is their community. It is an amazing community. There are a lot of people that are passionate about the game itself, and these guys are on podcasts. Heather writes a blog. I write a blog that's completely independent of what I do on Gamebreaker. And in fact, it's right there, hyperspacebeacon.com. And so I really like this community. I want to have different people on here. I'm going to go ahead and plug one of the people that we're going to have on next week. I'm going to have SWTOR Miner on next week. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to have to disguise his voice and disguise his face. It'll be great. And so what I'm going to do, what I'd like to do is just talk about what you guys do independently, and what server you're on, what kind of things you like. So Heather, start with you. You're on Harbinger, right? Yes. And one of the things that your guild, and I'll go ahead and let you plug your guild. What have you guys done? I heard you've done some amazing things on Harbinger. What's going on with Conquest and whatnot?
Oh yeah, I am in despair on the Harbinger. So far, we have conquered our first 2 planets in the first 2 weeks, and it looks like we're gonna conquer a third one. First week we did Va, second week we did Corellia, and this week we're doing CZ198. I think we're about 1 million points ahead as of right now, so I'm pretty sure, we're gonna do it again, hopefully.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that's exciting. But a little bit about me, like Larry was saying earlier, I run a blog called PrettyLittleSith.com. That's where everything started. I write mostly about gaming and the game, Star Wars The Old Republic. I'm also a co-host of Corellian Run Radio. I've been doing that since earlier this year, and that is a bi-weekly podcast about Star Wars The Old Republic. In-game, I play an assassin. I play a deception assassin. That's the only thing I know how to play really, really, really well, like idiot savant well.
Yep.
Like, that's the only thing that I can really do. But I play it really well.
I'm that way with Marauder. I feel you. Marauder is the only one that I have been able to latch onto. I mean, I can play some of the other classes, but the one I'm best with is Marauder. So I feel you there. So Corellian Run Radio, I had actually been on Corellian Run Radio before, not with you, unfortunately, but I was on there when it first started. And I wasn't a host on there. I showed up a couple times. Like I've met Carla and the people that started it. And so what's been going on with Corellian Run recently?
Recently, it's been me and Jason. Carla's not on the show anymore, so it's been me and Jason running it. We've been trying to change up the format and do some new stuff, but I think things are really picking up on there, which is good. This is one of the older SWTOR podcasts, so it's nice to have the legacy going and continuing. Absolutely. In fact, last week we interviewed my GM, because he has been the #1 guild leader, taking over 2 planets in a row so far.
Amazing.
So that's a good show to listen to. From actually, no, it was this week that we released it.
Cool.
But as for servers, I do have some other tunes on the Bastion and the Prophecy of the Five servers, but they're not level 55, and you probably won't be able to find me on there.
All right. Well, it is awesome to have you here. I'm just really, really glad that you came on board to help us out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think, yeah. I expect some amazing things to come out of this podcast as well as what you're doing before, because that's actually, and if I may dote on you just a little bit, your writing and the work that you've done on Curling Run is the reason that I invited you here. I read your blog. I've read your blog actually, and I've been following you for a while. I don't know if you've been following me, but I've been following you for a while on Twitter. And you can follow her. You can follow everybody in chat room. You guys can follow her as well on Twitter at Heather_PLS. I can't show. I'm afraid to switch cameras. Moving on to Redna. You're on UtiniCast. You said you're on the Bastion server, right? What class do you play, and why do you play that class? And why you play pub? That's the real question. Why are you a dirty pub?
I have this running theory that people play what they want to be, not what they really are. And so there's a lot of these pansy pushovers that they want to be badass, so they play the imps. Whereas I'm really just a complete jerk, and so I want to be a nice guy, and I play on the pub side.
He called me a pansy pushover.
That's what I heard too.
Hear that, guys?
Yeah.
No, but seriously, honestly, I played every single one of the base class storylines start to finish at this stage. I am... Everybody's going to hate me. I think I did the Imperial side wrong.
Oh.
I played straight up light side for the Force users. And light side for the agent worked. I liked that. Agent was a great story. I felt
it also works for the bounty hunter too.
Yeah, it does.
I thought the bounty hunter was kind of uninspired. It was predictable. It was a cool little story or whatever, but I mean, honestly, I'd rather be Han Solo than Boba Fett. Now, I know there's a lot of Boba Fett lovers out there, but that's why my first character was a gunslinger, straight up. I wanted to be Han Solo, and that was my main until 2.0.
So,
and I had shipped. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you still play a gunslinger?
I actually have only recently been getting back into him. I had started tanking because, of course, you always need tanks, and I was getting sick and tired of having to swap tanks, so I became a tank just to be consistent.
Which kind of tank did you run?
I was a shadow tank up until 2.0. With 2.0, I switched to a Guardian, and then I did that until GSF came out. At which point I kind of stopped doing ops altogether. GSF came out, and I fell down that rabbit hole for 3 or 4 months.
Really? I'm glad to have you on.
I like GSF too.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to have you guys on this because I can't stand GSF. It's not that I can't. I mean, I understand. I used to actually play Star Wars Galaxies, so I know, Twitch-y kind of gameplay and starfighters and things like that. The same maps over and over again. I couldn't get it. But then I'm not a PvPer either, and So,
and then you invited us.
Yeah, well, I invited you guys because I'm not a PvPer. So I know you guys both PvP, and so that's another reason I'm glad to have you guys on board, because
it's frustrating, honestly, with all the different podcasts and community members. A lot of the content creators out there are Care Bears. I only know one podcast that's entirely PvP, and they're very little known.
Wow. Well, maybe we should get one of those guys on this podcast. Get them a little bit more known, right?
It's hard because everybody trash talks the PvP servers. It's not like people think it is.
No.
Heck, people trash talk the PvP community, but honestly, go to the fleet and turn on General.
Yeah.
They're the vile scum and villainy from Tatooine living on the fleet. You know?
It's true.
It's pretty rancid. They are just terrible people. They're trolls, and they like to be vocal, and they like to be noticed, and I'm liberal with my ignore. So it's not the community. You can, just ignore the people you don't like, and suddenly you'll find that there's a really nice group behind that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree with you. That people that are good at PvP, most of the guys that I know that are really good at PvP, they're nice guys. You know, and they help you out. I mean, we used to have a guy on here on this show, Ed Park, if you guys remember in the chat room. Ed Park, he was one of the nicest guys in the world and also one of the best PvPers I've ever seen in my entire life. So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, the funny thing is because it's those temperamental freakouts, they don't do well in PvP.
Yeah.
All of these studies, like League of Legends and whatnot, they do these studies left and right. Trolls do poorer. People that trash talk their teammates lose more often. It's actually the guys that like PvP but can actually keep a level head and not let it get to them. They're the ones that do the best.
Absolutely,
they do really well.
Well, I am.
But anyway, so my main was a gunslinger with a shadow. Switched that to a guardian, and then with GSF, I leveled from level 1 to 55 by doing nothing other than GSF.
Hey,
Awesome.
Redna, real quick, the chat room is asking you what podcast you're talking about that talks about PvP.
Enmity Podcast, Enmity, Enmity, yeah.
Enmity, all right.
And they're a group of guys. They're average Joes, and they happen to be on the Bastion. I've never been in communication with them or anything, but I like listening to them because it's a PvP guild on a PvP server.
Excellent. Well, glad to
so my Vanguard, and what happened was when I hit 55 on my Vanguard, that became my main. At which point I came out of the rabbit hole of GSF and went straight into PvP. Geared all the way out and started doing ranked.
And they are one of the best. Vanguards and Power Techs on the Imperial side, one of the best, I think, in PvP in general. It's not Pyrotech. What is it on the Trooper side?
Power Tech.
No. There's a Pyro.
Vanguard. Oh, the Assault Specialist.
Yeah, one of the best is from my understanding, one of the best DPS actually that's out because we have a Power Tech that is Pyrotech spec in our raid group that can out DPS just about everybody. So,
like I said, I've not been in the ops recently, so I'm not sure. When I stopped doing progression ops, my hybrid gunslinger, I was top 25 or whatever in the world of any spec, but that was a long time ago.
Just saying, guys, plugging myself big time, but I do Nightmare Progression, and I'm top of my parse group with my Deception Assassin. So you guys can
suck the
madness. You can say whatever you want about me switching to madness.
There you go.
That's the thing. Yeah, play in what you like, and if you love it, play how you do. I think that when it comes to PvP, Madness Sorks are just rocking it, and
they are
Shadow Madness.
Madness right now is pretty. Actually, I think the dot specs in general are doing pretty well, and no matter what the class is, because I know there's several people that
Juggernauts they can literally heal the full.
Yeah.
A couple times. Juggernauts are pretty devastating too. Vanguards were definitely up near the top for Season 1. Season 2, there's been some changes, but it's nice. Things keep shifting. Now I've actually been going back to my gunslinger. I love the playstyle of the gunslinger. Everybody hates the take cover mechanic. I love it. It's an extra move ability. I've got hightail it and take cover because I never take cover in place. I see my little green guy and go flying across the screen, and everybody who just leapt to me gets left behind. It's nice.
Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna we're gonna take a little break or get a word from our sponsor here. Hopefully it works as I switch cameras. So we'll be right back after word from Audible. Hello, in order to keep this show running, we need some sponsors, and we need you to help participate in the things that we sponsor here. And one of our favorite sponsors that we have is Audible, and you can get a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook with Audible if you go to hyperspacebeacon.com/audible. And what this will get you, like I said, 30 days and a free book. But specifically why I want to go with Audible today is that on Tuesday, a brand new Star Wars book came out. It is called A New Dawn. There it is, right there. And if we look it up, there it is, right on top. It is written by John Jackson Miller, who has wrote a lot of books in the Star Wars series. This particular one is the first one that's come out that is completely a part of the new canon. That all the old stuff is now legends and whatnot, unless you're the Clone Wars or the movies. So new canon, brand new stuff. This is kind of reintroducing you to the Star Wars universe. And what I would like to do is just play a little sample of it, see what you think.
The sandy-haired Jedi Master touched the panel again. "It's just in test mode now," Obi-Wan said. "No one will respond. But were there a true emergency, Jedi could receive the message in several ways." He glanced down at his listeners. "There is the basic alert signal, and then there are other components in which you might find more detailed text and holographic messages. No matter the format, the basic purpose should be clear." "Go home!" the collected students shouted. Obi-Wan nodded. Then he saw a hand being raised. The student in the back," he said, fishing for a name. "Caleb Doom, right?" "Yes, Master." Obi-Wan smiled. "I'm learning too." The students giggled. "You have a question, Caleb?" "Yes." The boy took a breath. "Where?" "Where what?" The other pupils laughed again, a little louder this time. "Where's home? Where do we go?"
Anyway, there you go. That is part of A New Dawn, one of the new Star Wars books that is read by Mark Thompson. Really amazing orator there. He also did all sorts of other Star Wars books as well. So you can, if you sign up right now at hyperspacebeacon.com/audible, you can get 30 days and you can get this book or any other Star Wars book or any other book that is on the list for free books as well. So definitely check that out. It's hyperspacebeacon.com/audible. Now back to the show. Satellite Shin. Satellite Shin. Jedi Grand Master. Satellite Shin. Satellite. Dark magnets. I'm afraid of dark magnets. Dark magnet. Cockroach. The hut. Cockroach. The hut. I want to eat at Cockroach the hut. So you guys couldn't hear that, but
I listened to it beforehand.
all right. I had to see what the chat room's reaction would be to that. So
at first I thought it was gonna, it was actually talking about, people say talking about SWTOR or TOR, and then I played it, and it was like satellite SHAN, and what the hell?
Anyway, just having a little fun. I found if you guys hadn't seen, you got to look up pronunciation guides on YouTube. If you're not a YouTuber, you wouldn't understand, but the pronunciation guides on YouTube are hilarious, and they do similar things to that. So it's basically an homage to them. The chat room is completely confused now. What the hell just happened? I don't know. Anyway, we're running short on time here, but I do want to.
We got to get the conquest to pay out.
Yes.
So let's talk about this. The last thing here is the guild flagships and guild conquests. So first off, let's talk about the flagships. Let me see if I can get the video going. Maybe I can. Oh, I might. Oh, there we go. Video. Okay, you guys can't hear it, but they can. It's really loud. All right, go ahead. So while we're watching this, you guys, assuming that you guys have guild capital ships already, right? My guild has it, and we're like a really small guild even, and we have one. So what do you think of the guild capital ships?
We have one.
And
They're
how many
awesome.
rooms? And how many rooms have you unlocked?
Oh God, I think oh gosh, I don't even know. We have at least like 1 or 2 rooms unlocked. We have the funds and stuff, but I think there's some other stuff involved. We have Drios that does the decorating in there. He's one of the raid leaders, and
Right.
Film is our guild leader, not the raid leader. But anyway, yeah, we have a guild ship, and it looks really cool. And I think we have it on public listing, so sometimes I'll go in there, and there's someone from some other guild. I'm like, oh my God, I'm here by myself. I'm about to get raped by someone from some random guild. But no, that was before I found out it was on public listings.
Awesome. Red, what about your guild? You got one? I assume you got one of these. No?
Well, I know that they have the ships.
You've never been.
I haven't really cared so much to go look at it. I mean, in order to contribute to conquest points, you've got to have your own stronghold as expanded as possible, filled to the brim. So I've been plastering posters everywhere between, trying to make money to unlock another room.
That's true. And my guild is we have a guild capital ship. We are comparatively a really small guild. We have, during a given week, we will have like maybe 20 people log on during a given week. Daily.
The whole week?
During a whole week.
Today we had like 20 people online.
That's right. But
every day.
Yeah.
Both the Imp and Pub side, the guilds I'm in, there's 20 people pretty much whenever I log in.
Yeah. So so we usually have. But we're cool with. That's the way we like it. That's not. So at any rate, so I'm enjoying the capital ship. We have one, obviously, even with the smaller guild as we have, we're able to get one, which was kind of a surprise to me. I really didn't think that some smaller guilds would be able to get a capital ship.
I don't try to make money at all, and I had 8 million in my bank. I didn't contribute to my guild, but that's because they had enough money.
Yeah.
Without me, and that's also why I've been able to. I fully unlocked Tatooine the first day. And then I've fully unlocked Coruscant now, and all but the balcony in Droman Kos. I haven't done anything extra with Nar Shaddaa, but that's the money I had on hand. And now with the things that you need to do for conquests, I'm actually on, getting money, even though I'm not trying, doing heroics for those conquests and doing PvP and whatnot. It actually adds up, and I'm doing it on multiple characters, so it's spreading around. And I know I've been making tons of these stupid crafting things, and I realized that I've got like 60 of them in my new legacy bank, and oh wait, you can sell those for money, so I might actually start using the GTN.
Cool. So since we're talking about that, let's talk about conquest. What I guess the general overview of the way conquest works is there are personal conquests that when you do those personal conquests, they add up to the overall guild conquest, and if your guild gains the most points for a given planet, then you win. And so, but and as far as what the conquests are, what they entail, specifically this time we have. You can hear me, right? All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. I thought I might have crashed again, but you've got like crafting that you can do to earn conquest points. You can do heroics sometimes. There's PvP, usually like in the form of like random group PvP, not necessarily open world PvP. Although there might be a bit of that too, depending on what planet you're on. So that pretty much sums up Conquest as I see it. Did I miss anything? I don't think I missed too much.
The nice thing about Conquest is it brings everything in the game. If you like to do heroics on the planets, if you like to do PvP, GSF,
World bosses,
operations, world bosses.
Yeah, I mean every single aspect of it, GSF and PvP, all those, everything is tied into it in some form or another. And depending on which planet you choose, your guild chooses to park its ship on, there are different focuses that come from that. Also, from week to week as the conquests change, the amount of points that contribute to your conquest scoreboard fluctuate, and so by its nature, the conquest events themselves actually kind of give you your whole guild a focus for the week. There might be more opportunities to get conquest points in PvP this week, more opportunities to get conquest points in GSF this week, more opportunities through flashpoints or whatever. And we've only seen a few weeks, but they've all been pretty noticeably different from one another. And the biggest thing is that individuals can actually have a phenomenal impact.
Yeah.
The first week, and of course people had tons and tons of crafting mechs, but on the Imperial side in my guild, there were like 9 people that made over 300,000 conquest points individually.
Yep.
And then it just dropped from there. It plummeted. There is a huge opportunity for guilds that are large to get ahead, but at the same time, if you had 20 people in your guild that were as dedicated as those 9 people, you would have beat my guild. We won our planet.
I gotta say that
79 people hit their personal goals.
I gotta say that my guild actually we didn't the first week we came up short from getting in the top 10 for I totally forget what planet we tried to conquer. Anyway, but the second week we got in the top 10. My guild of 20 people got into the top 10. We of course we didn't expect we were going to win the planet, of course, because our guild being smaller, but we won the planet, and that was amazing. I mean, it took a lot of work for us to do that, mind you. I mean, and that's one of the things that it was Voss. Duxon's telling me it was Voss. So that's one of the things I kind of want to talk about here is this differentiation between smaller guilds, and are smaller guilds going to want to even do conquest on certain servers? On my servers, we have a lot of small guilds. Most of our guilds are smaller. There's a ton of people, but most of them are guilds that 20 people or so, something along that line in the guilds. But on other servers, is it even worth it?
It's fun. I mean, there's not always going to be a week where there's only 3 planets or only 5 planets. Who knows? There might be 10 planets. And, these smaller guilds will get a chance to participate. So, I guess just keep playing how you're playing. You don't really have to change much of what you're already doing. I wouldn't say go start doing something else if you don't like it. One of the successes that we have in my guild is we have people that like to do different things. We have GSFers, we have PvPers, we have people that like to do PvE content. So I think that's why we've been doing so well, just because there's always people constantly queuing for things, anything. And so I think for these smaller guilds, I wouldn't just, stop playing. I would just continue to do it, and if the opportunity arises where you can use all these crafting mats, then I would go. But if there's only 3 planets, then just have fun with the game. I wouldn't try to make a big push for it, though.
Right. Is there anything that BioWare can do to encourage?
That's the question.
Yeah.
You give me the ideas. I think the first thing is perception. Dude, the public perception is always so skewed, and people just have their doom and gloom perspective. Smaller guilds can do well. They have to work hard. They have to work harder than the larger guilds, at least individually they do. But like you said, you were able to get onto the board. I think that, the only difference between getting first and getting 10th is a title.
Yeah,
That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your guild reward for being in the top 10 is the same. no matter what size your guild is or what position you're in. And that's really, the guild reward is actually kind of nice. And I think that anybody, definitely the more planets that are available, the more likely it is that a smaller guild can succeed and be in the top 10. But really, there's not that many mega guilds on any of the servers.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna. Yes, top 3 to 5, it's gonna be really, really competitive. But below 5, it's actually going to drop dramatically. And rather than being
what have you
6 million for the planet, it's gonna be 900,000.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, what are you seeing as far as numbers of points? Because obviously you're looking at like 9-10 million up at the top end, but what are you seeing towards the middle and towards the low end? What are we looking at as far? Let's talk about Harbinger first. What did you pay any attention to the numbers below your guys's below Despair? Did you know?
Honestly, no. I look at the top, I look at my number, and I'm like, oh, great, we won. It says Despair conquered Corellia, and then I don't really look. I might have screenshots, though, but I'll have to, look further.
I know that I remember one screenshot of yours. I don't remember if this was the one where you won, but yours, even the lower ones, it was still like 2 or 3 million, and I guess, and I know that in my guild in particular that it was a little bit difficult to get that high of numbers, but it is possible for maybe a medium-sized guild to get that kind of numbers, right? What were you looking at on Bastion?
I think Harbinger is going to be the most competitive in the United States too. They are without question the largest server.
Yes, yeah. What about Bastion? What were you seeing as far as their numbers? Do you know?
Oh, there was a dramatic drop off. I mean, even the first week I saw guilds in the top 10 that had less than 1 million.
Oh, that's awesome.
Depends on what planet, it also depends on the conquest.
Yeah, but yeah,
oh, no, I don't.
I think you're probably right, Red, and I definitely so I guess
I think there's a strategy behind see where the big guilds go right away,
right,
and they all flood to 2 or 3 planets, then go to the other one. Then you're gonna have a much better chance as a smaller guild.
There is a little bit of a strategy to that, and actually my guild there's about 3 to 5 of us that are really concentrated on what to do for conquests, and so what we do, generally speaking, is that we do wait a little bit to see where the big guilds are going, and what we're looking at as far as that's concerned. But the other thing we also look at is since there are just a small cluster of us that really concentrate on the conquests, we try to see what things are we going to be able to do repeatedly and gain the most points on. And there is absolutely, and this is one of the best things that I like about conquests, is the metagame. It's okay.
There's strategy outside of the game that goes into this.
Exactly, there is, and that is one of the things I really, really like about it, because you can, okay, what are we going to be able to pull off? So there's a lot of heroics on this one. Like, for instance, whenever we were doing we got Balmora. We were in the top 10 of Balmora last week, and what we were looking at is that, well, you have 17 alts, and I have 27 alts, and and we can all run heroics on all those alts. That would be amazing, and we can actually get some points off of this. And that's what we did. We ran our alts all the time. We had groups going constantly, with 3 to 4 people in the groups all the time, running those things, and that's how we were able to do it, because it was a lot of fun, because again, one of the reasons why I play Tor in general is because of the group of people that I play with, and it was just fun hanging out with them, even though we didn't really have to think about what we were doing. We were just getting points and that kind of thing.
That's been my big thing too. In fact, that's why, now I'm in a bigger guild, but I had actually gotten into this guild before Conquest even came out, because I'm trying to pursue some operations. It's like, if you want to be, you need gate. I think, yeah, you're right. The guilds that only have 4 people in them, they're just not going to be able to compete. They can still do their personal goals and get the decorations out of it, get their weekly reward for their personal stuff, but 4 people could get a ship, but it's not going to be very useful to them, other than planet buffs, I guess, and group transport. Sometimes not everybody can play everything in the game. Not everybody can do nightmare progression. Not everybody can do ranked PvP, be it skill, interest, or otherwise. There are just nobody's playing. Well, few people except for college kids that are allowing themselves to fail out of their classes are playing the entire game.
That's true. That's true.
I'm glad I didn't play any MMOs when I was in college. If I had, oh god, I would have flunked out.
But even towards your meta comment, it's like if you're a smaller guild and say you're on the smaller faction, i.e. pub side on the Bastion, right?
Yep.
My pub guild got 4th or 5th the first week, and was fortunate because we went to the planet that was the least active. That's how we got it.
What?
Second week,
That's part of the meta.
underpopulated on Bastion is the Republic. So what did we do? We went to Balmora because we knew we wouldn't have to compete against the vast majority of the population, which was Imperial.
Exactly.
We went to Republic Balmora, and it was awesome, and we rocked it. I mean, we blew away the competition by over 1 million.
Exactly. That's the way you got to play.
We're now on track to be 5th or 6th again.
Yeah, that's the way you got to play. You got to play. You definitely have to play the meta, and so there is strategies to it. And I am glad to hear that on Bastion, which is is that the largest PvP server still? I think it is. I'm pretty
think
sure
top 5 had a big plummet. So I'm in Europe, whatever that is, Tomb of
right.
Whatever.
Is it
I think it's
Gentipal?
bigger, but
yeah. But
Bastion's the biggest right now. And it's a healthy community. I mean, queues pop for everything.
Yeah. So I
get on at lunch. I'm on the West Coast server, but I live on the East Coast. I get on at lunch my time. So like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, and I can get into anything.
That's it's good. It's good to hear that smaller guilds can make it. That was one of the things I was really concerned about, was that smaller guilds weren't going to be able to compete at all in this. So at any rate, this has been an amazing show.
I don't know how you could get the smallest people in. It is worth saying that the really, really small guilds might just focus on your individual goals.
I do have
tune into a big guild.
I do have some ideas. In fact, I'll give a writing project to Heather. Come up with a way for smaller guilds to speculate and put it on.
Tell them how to beat my big super guild.
Yeah, that's right. What could BioWare do to improve the chances of smaller guilds or encourage smaller guilds to participate in conquest?
They can give them a handicap.
Give them a handicap.
There's actually one other thing too that I haven't heard anybody talk about, but BioWare's been touting left and right the fact that any way you like to play, it's going to contribute to conquests.
Yeah.
And that's true. Any way I like to play, it contributes to conquests.
It does.
Where's the RP contribution to conquests?
Strongholds. If you decorate your house like super cool, it offers a stronghold bonus. So that makes whatever else you like to do in the game. Even if you just, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm not here. But strongholds, I guess you can only do that once. But
it's true.
I don't know. Go into your stronghold and then have a party, and then have everyone queue for an operation. Like, this is our pre-party for killing Kephis for the 100th time.
All right. Well, I want to thank my guests for showing up. This Heather, Diana on the Harbinger server. You can catch her over at gosh, I'm blanking out now. PrettyLittleSith.com, right? Did I get that right?
Yes, PrettyLittleSith.com.
Okay, and you can also get her on Twitter at Heather_PLS. You can also catch her on the Corellian Run Radio every other week. That came out this week, and you got one coming in 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
All right, and then hopefully it doesn't crash whenever I hit this button. Oh, it didn't crash. Yes. Okay. Yes. Redna. At R3DN4 on Twitter. You can also see him on UtiniCast. You guys do it every week, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, we're live every week, Wednesdays at 4:30 PFT, 7:30 East Coast, that's zootinicast.com/live. It's a live stream to YouTube, but we've got chat room and whatnot tied into that as well. And actually, I do Twitch streams pretty regularly, and for the show, I do a backup Twitch stream, and that's just twitch.tv/R3DN4. If you just think about it as numbers instead of vowels, it's Redna.
Sure.
Really clever.
Excellent. All right. Thank you both for being here. I am, of course, Larry Everett. You can catch my stuff on hyperspacebeacon.com. You can also catch me on Massively every other week. I've got Hyperspace Beacon coming out on Massively on Tuesday. And you can also catch me here every single day on Game Breaker TV. I write for them. And follow me on Twitter at Shadow, SHADDOE, and follow Game Breaker at Game Breaker TV. Thanks again. Glad to have you. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Have a good week.
Peace
See you
out.
later.